Okay, so I recently was able to get a G3 65 watt, and I thought it might be interesting to do a comparison of the G3 35 with the 65, similar to a prior video in which we did it with the G2. Um, that proved to be pretty popular, so I thought we'd go over with this one. Similar to the G2, the 65 watt has the cover with all the extra holes for ventilation and such versus the 35 watt. The front looks pretty much identical, and you'd kind of think that, because of the simple fact that I mean, really, the motherboards and such are the same. The backs, um, the only difference, the top one that's got the VGA, the bottom has the display port for the Flex IO on this particular set here. If we look at the bottom, $35, $65. See where it says that it's 35 watt, basic information on it. I don't see a lot of the, I guess with the others, they would actually give the information as far as the actual, electrical usage and so forth. But I must have been like maybe once they got past the G2, they stopped doing that sort of thing. Here's the 65 watt. See it right there. They both, of course, use the G3 loves using this thing instead of the thumb screw. So if we pop, one thing I found that kind of helps is if you do the press it over and then kind of push it on one side ever so slightly. There you go. And then that seems to loosen it enough. Otherwise, what happens is it kind of pops back into place. Okay. Here's the bottom, or the inside, I guess, of the chassis. Looks pretty much the same. I'm sure if let's pop this one just for completeness. This one comes off a little easier, probably because I've had it longer. There's the, obviously it looks different. Just the fact that you got the ventilation on one, not the other. Okay, let's we'll put these to the side and let's look inside the units. Okay, fans are pretty similar. Looks like even the how the I guess what the actual blades look like. Memory. This particular unit, because it's so fresh, I don't have a memory or a CPU for it. I'm waiting CPU in the mail, and that will be in another video. Let's take out the caddies and we'll compare those. Similar in that you've got two screws here. This one's got a screw here, but you notice it's going to be a little difficult getting it over here. So let's go ahead and take this one completely out. and get that last screw there. All right. Put that caddy to the side for a sec. Now I've heard this one's a little tricky taking out. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take out these two first. Okay, let's see. Does that? No, that doesn't come. All right, looks interesting. I know that one of the commenters said that he didn't like because it seemed like there were so many screws you had to take out. So I don't see a better way to get to there. I think we're going to have to take out these three screws here. Let me get that. Okay, we'll take out. Yeah, we definitely didn't have to do as much of this on the G2 65 watt. HP always seems to come up with differences. Be curious to also see what a G4 65 watts. So let's see. Okay, that kind of pops out there. Now I can get to, although I think I'm going to have to take out, disconnect that fan, because even if I get that screw that's underneath here out, I don't see how I'm going to easily, I don't think that's going to slide underneath there. So I'm going to have to grasp that. Let me bring it up here to the camera a little bit. So here's the power connector. Let's see if we can. Good, that came out. All right, now fish it through here. Okay, there's our fan. Put him to the side. Now I can put him back down. Get my torque. And loosen him. You can tell this probably hasn't been taken out before. It was a little stiff. I end up with mine doing so many times that it's pretty soft. Let's see. Oh, all right. Let's see. Close that slightly. There we go. Okay. Boy, that is a little extra work. Okay. So here's kind of the side by side. Now, obviously, it's the same caddy. Difference being is that these two screws have been taken out, so that way you can get and add the fan. Here's what the fan looks like. Pretty basic. And then this, of course, will turn on. I believe it will only turn on if it detects that there's a SATA drive connected. If it's anything like the G3, G2. We'll see that when I get my CPU, that's set up. Now everything else, I mean, again, it's pretty much it's got to be the same. My never looked maybe at the model numbers, but it should be the exact same motherboard, for both the 65, excuse me, 35 and the 65. Same, you got your M.2. Let's see what, if we can get the heatsink out and check that out here. So these are always a little, you kind of have to feed that to the side. Let's grab. This one right now has a i5 6500T. I have on order, well, I'll keep it a secret until the time, but I have on order a CPU for this one, because when I, of course, purchased it, got a nice price, had everything except for RAM and CPU. So let's open this guy up. Yeah, these are pretty stiff. All right. And here, of course, I was just, maybe thinking there would be magically a CPU in there, but wishful thinking. Well, obviously, you see here, it's all copper for the heatsink. This seems like there's more copper than on the G2. So that's what that guy looks like. And let's snake this thing through here. There we go. Okay. When you're putting these fans back, the side here, you have to kind of go. It's like threading the needle there. So let's see. We've got 3, 2. Yeah. 3. Oh, 3. There it goes. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we'll do it in reverse. We'll just kind of loosen this a little bit. And this one. When I put it back, I'll just, loosen, tighten as I go in there. That should be enough. Okay. So there's your aluminum heatsink. And for comparison, there's your copper. And from the side, you can also see this is copper, this is aluminum. Same way. There we go. When I get ready to put the one in here, obviously I'll clean this guy up. This one's pretty fresh because I put in this CPU. Okay, let's see. Any other differences? No, everything else is pretty much the same. Again, the big difference is the heat sink, the extra fan, the fact that you can see that it's a little cumbersome getting into there. There's always the recommendations between the two. Really comes down to if you want something, if you go the 65 watt unit, You can get the processors without the T at the end, so they can go a little more juice and coming out. This you're going to have just you're going to just have the T. You're going to have only one fan. Some folks have said, "Well, is it noisy? Is it this and that?" I use the I haven't. We'll see when we actually do something with this one what it's like. I can't imagine it being much different than my G2 65 watt that I use all the time as far as noise. So it really comes down to how it is now. As we've shown before, you can get this 65 watt unit and get it all set up, but you could still use a T processor. That way, you don't need a 90 watt power supply. If you go with one of the non-T processors, it's going to require a 90 watt power adapter. If you don't use it, it's going to beep at you, and you're going to have to go get one. So, but if you go with my understanding, based on what some of the tests have done, and also from the commenters, if you can just use the standard 65 watt power supply with this if you go with the T processors. So that's about it on the G3.